this. It was an accident, but sometimes when I get to trimming, I make it uneven, and I was trying to go for the goatee look, but cut a little bit too much off one side, and yeah, sometimes it's just better to start from scratch. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing here. Definitely just feels weird to me. Another thing about the transmission, I'm going to be in Utah one more day, kind of heading north, but this morning I decided I was going to go get the transmission fluid fixed, filter flushed, because I know Jiffy Lube does them, and Jiffy Lubes aren't all around the country, but they are here in Utah, Salt Lake City area. So I went in there and I pulled up and I asked for the guy, and I told him I wanted to talk to him. I said, I want to get your transmission service here. Here's what's going on. And so I told him exactly what's going on. I tried to give him as much information as I possibly could about, there's no slamming. The transmission is fine when it's warm, but sometimes in the morning, this whole column just feels neutral and it never goes into gear until you let the entire engine kind of warm up. And I thought I was, kind of doing the right thing by giving as much information as possible. And then he just kind of looked at me and he's like, we can't service your transmission here. It would be a liability issue. I said, what would be a liability issue? Well, if it gets worse or something, you could sue us. I'm like, really? I'll sign a waiver. I just want to have my transmission working better, and I know the filter and fluid needs to be changed. He's like, well, we just can't do it. Sorry. Wow, I should have just shut my mouth. Doesn't make any sense. But I'm not really trying to argue with people. I was kind of irritated. I wasn't mad, but I was irritated. I literally drove about 1.3 miles north to the next Jiffy Lube. Pulled in, and I said, hey, I just want to get your conventional oil change, please. He said, okay, sure. And then when he called me up to the window to register the van and everything, he says, recommendations are that you should get a transmission service. If you'd like to do that today, I'll go ahead and knock off $50 if you want to add that to your oil change. I looked at him like, well, if you think that's something that we should do, I'm going to go ahead and do that then. Good idea. I don't know if there's a lesson to be learned there or not. Just keep my mouth shut. Anyway, I'll keep a close eye on what's going on with the transmission here on the cold warnings. If it's going to be cold, I don't think it's going to be that cold. I may not get another chance to ever see that problem happen again until I get into next winter. But I will keep an eye on it. I'm more confident now. Also, I put my new iPhone back in the old case that I had from my other iPhone because I didn't like that OtterBox. It was too thick. And it had some stuff down here that was like I always support it on my pinky like that, and the other case has this really rough patch right there. It's really weird. Am I turning right here? Yes. So I put this one back on this phone, and then I put the other one back on my other iPhone, which I'm kind of just deciding to use as an MP3 player. Just keep that charged and have another 64 gigabytes music on another device, unless I find somebody eventually who has Sprint and needs a new iPhone. We'll see. Walmart here for the afternoon. Stock up on supplies. I'm not camping here overnight, but just so you know, my app says no overnight parking at this Walmart Supercenter here. So that's interesting because if you'll see here in a minute, there's a bunch of RVs. I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to try to spend the night. I'm not going to, but there are a bunch. There's a nice one. There's an old one. Weird. Trailer over there. Picky about where I park. I really am very picky. Let me just back up into the spot here, then I'll explain why I'm so picky sometimes. Okay, so this is where I parked for right now. This back lot spot, kind of off into the corner. Reason being is solely because I can get away with opening up my passenger side doors here on this side, and as you can see, kind of have somewhat privacy. Kind of. I mean, well, this is what I get. A little bit of shade, a little bit of tree. Just, you know, something different than having people stare into my van if I want to open the door or let Jax out on the leash. Anyway, we're going to walk over here because as I was turning in and saying, wow, there's a lot of RVs here for Walmart that has very strict policies, like written online that says no overnight parking. Well, there's some. They were actually walking away from this camper here, and that's really tacky. Somebody just left their camper here without the tow vehicle. That's not in good shape either. And there's some more over here. We're just gonna walk around and look. There's a cop over there talking to some associates. So I'm wondering what they're saying. But here's another one. This old Dodge here. Looks like it's for sale. $800. Let's see. There's another one that's kind of just parked here like this with its trailer. Left there. Here's a nice one. Vehicle must be removed. That nice view over there has the same sign on it. Yep, this one right here has the same sign on it. And that one right there has the same sign on it. South Jordan Police. He's talking to these people. You guys have a lot of RVs here today. Trying to get rid of them?
We are.
Okay.
Well, it's because they've been here for over
That makes sense. People overstay their overnight, you know, do your shopping and then leave.
24-hour.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you guys are on top of it, though, for people living here. So the associate didn't want to be on camera, but they were friendly, and they said that this is an all-day task force that they have to do, sometimes every single week, to kick out the RVs that are staying here long-term. She said, we do allow overnight parking. And I said, oh, well, there's your website says there's no overnight parking. She says, no, we allow overnight parking for 24 hours here. But they still have to kick people out that live here permanently all the time. And they have to get the police involved, and then after they can't reach them by a certain time, then they just tow them. They just tow them.